Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Andrew Oppenheimer, Head of Business Development and Strategy with Nasdaq North American Market Services. Andrew, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
All right, we're closing out the first half of the year. We just had the Russell reconstitution at the close of the market on Friday, June 25th, a record in terms of volume and notional value. Andrew, give us an update on the market so far in the first half of 2021.
Yeah, so they remain very busy as they did in 2020. Volumes have come down a bit, but still remain pretty elevated. We're doing around 10 billion shares a day in total consolidated volume. So, if you go back pre-COVID, pre-pandemic into 2019, early 2020, you're hovering around 6.5 billion shares. So we still remain elevated off the highs. Of course, there's a concentration in retail stocks that have become very popular. Also, those have come down a bit, but again, remain elevated, and retail remains an acute focus of the industry and Nasdaq. So the first 6 months have remained certainly active, not one on the business front, on the regulatory front. And so with the market composition changing over the last year, it does give Nasdaq the opportunity to innovate, think of things differently, and forge a path forward for the second half of 2021. We did have a record Russell day of 2.37 billion shares traded. That's follows the record 2020 of 1.57, and it's the first time we ever had a closing cross for the Russell rebalance that was bigger than the NYSE. So very, very happy, thrilled, and of course, it's not about just one day with the Russell or it's about months and months of preparation, the day in and day out effort from our technology team, which is, in my opinion, best in class, the best technology team on the street. So all of those accolades and kudos go to them.
And Andrew, speaking of that massive trade that we saw at the close on June, see in the final hour of trading.
Yeah, so we have been looking at the final hour trading. Of course, the industry knows it is it is the busiest hour. So not surprising, we do see elevated volume. And many know that the markets kind of have what we call a U curve, or the smiley curve, where you open up with high volume, you kind of level off throughout the day, and then you go higher towards the end of the day, especially into the close. So what we've seen is volumes hover around 20-25% on the Nasdaq exchange. And then for midpoint, in that 30 to 35% range. But what we really were impressed to see is M-ELO volume. And of course, I've been on many times to talk about M-ELO, but in the 35 to 40% range is where M-ELO trades, right? So 40% of the volume that's traded in M-ELO on a given day happens in that last hour. And so what happens in that last hour is, spreads contract, and the market becomes a little bit more volatile. And, we see, M-ELO perform beautifully in that time frame.
And so, Andrew, you're seeing that performance there. What else should investors utilize M-ELO for as a trading tool?
Yeah, so as we see the performance, maintain and actually grow into that last hour and half hour of the day, where our per share markouts are less than 1/10 of a basis point. So really happy with that. I've been, like I said, been on here a few times to discuss the efficacy of M-ELO, where you can shield yourselves from adverse selection and spread crossing, aggressively priced orders that'll move the market. Now seeing the uptick in volume in that last hour, I think you could see algos use it in their target close strategies, which are essentially backloaded VWAPs, where they get a little bit aggressive towards the end of the day. And I think as we go back, we changed the timer from 500 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds for the M-ELO order type. It's now allowed for algo providers to implement M-ELO into those more aggressive strategies with that shorter time frame.
All right, Andrew, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks.